I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, is she leading me on? Well, I've got an email here from a viewer, but first, I've got a quote by Dostoevsky. He says, "A man who lies to himself and believes his own lies becomes unable to recognize truth either in himself or in anyone else." So obviously, what we're going to be looking at here, I got this email from a viewer. This guy's obviously bullshitting himself. And I just hate to see guys doing this, getting hung up on a girl and just constantly pursuing, chasing, setting dates. The girl cancels the dates, and then they continue to be involved with the girl, always wanting something to change. There's other dudes in the picture that she's dating. And instead of just meeting a chick who's got none of this bullshit going on in her life, she's got no baggage, no exes, no guys that she's bouncing back and forth between, you get caught, because I used to do this stuff when I was younger, you get caught up in girls like this, and it's like months of your life just go by, and you never fucking get anywhere, and all it does is frustrate you. And so when you are going through that, and you constantly interact with a woman that you're pretty much getting nowhere with, whether you realize it or not, you are emotionally conditioning yourself to expect that this kind of interaction is what's going to be in your future interactions with women. Because when you continue to interact with women where it's just not going anywhere, you're basically communicating to the universe that you don't feel deep down that you deserve to have somebody really great, really spectacular, who's easy to be with, who you have a lot in common with, who there's a mutual attraction with, and who you do pretty much most things right from the get-go when you meet. But when you stay stuck in this conflict, it can be literally addicting because you know what you're going to get. You know you're going to be disappointed emotionally. You know you're not going to get the girl that you want. You know she's going to cancel dates on you more than likely or jerk you around. It's not going to be a pleasant emotional experience. But if you grew up maybe in a family kind of like the dysfunctional one I grew up in, these kinds of things were the norm to me. And so when I started interacting with women and having problems, not getting anywhere, being stuck in friend zone all the time, was because of how I was showing up, because of how I was interacting with them. And so the more a chick ignored me or paid no attention or was unavailable, it's like the more I was interested in her. Because it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I really believed deep down that I didn't deserve to have what I wanted because I never got the love and affection that I needed when I was a kid from my own mother. And so to me it was normal to not have that. Whereas a guy grows up in a healthy family, mom gives him a hug whenever, these issues don't really come up when it comes to dating women. They don't struggle with those kinds of problems because they've been emotionally conditioned that things are going to be easy and effortless. Mom's going to give you a hug. In other words, the girl likes you. She's going to make it easy. It's like you don't expect things. But in this way, it's like this guy's been conditioned, and so he doesn't know any better. That's why I say repetition is the mother of skill all the time. That's why you apply the things that I teach, because you start to see the patterns that interacting with women like this is something that you want to like run from like the plague. So let's go through his email. He says, "Hey Coach, I recently started watching your videos and reading your book, and I have to say, great job, sir. I wish I had known these facts 10 years ago. He says, "I'm 30 right now, and I met this pretty girl, and she was 20 at my office 4 months ago. At first, she was all into me." It's usually what happens, because at the end of the day, when you meet a girl, on a scale of 1 to 10, if she perceives you as being a 5 or better, I mean, women know within 3 seconds of meeting a guy if they're physically into him enough to where he's got a chance with her. But if you're a 4 and below, you ain't got a shot. And so the thing is like when you constantly interact with women where like it never goes anywhere, it's like you never really get to see that because you're just simply not interacting with enough women because you're interacting with women like this that just frustrate you and you never get anywhere. Whereas if you apply this stuff and you actually start going out with women where you don't have all this bullshit and all this drama and all this baggage and all this crap that goes along with it, then you start to see the differences. And then you realize, well, it's a lot easier to go out with a girl who likes me and who actually tries to keep the conversation going when we're on a date. She's actually interesting to talk to. She's fun to talk to. She's fun to be with, as opposed to always trying extra hard to keep conversation going, being the one that's doing most of the pursuing. It's just a bad way to go. So he says, at first, obviously, this girl was really into him. He says, we would chat for hours, go on dates, dinners, etc. She's a nice person who confessed she had a breakup 3 years ago. And notice how it's like the guy's 3 years ago, it's like in the scheme of things, it really doesn't fucking matter. But what's going on is more than likely she's at some point when things weren't going the way you wanted, she threw out, oh, I went through a bad breakup 3 years ago. And these are like the excuses girls throw out instead of telling guys what's really going on because they don't want to hurt your feelings. And the guy he starts rationalizing, oh, okay, yeah, this thing happened 3 years ago. Okay, that makes total sense. Because the guy's thinking rationally. He's like, oh, I just got to give her time and I give her space. And when reality, at the end of the day, if she had liked you, she would have made a date, she would have gone out with you, and things would have progressed. But it's like the guy figured, you've seen too many movies where the guy always gets the girl that really doesn't want anything to do with him, or he's the geek in school, and she's the hot, popular cheerleader. And of course, at the end of the movie, the geek ends up with a popular cheerleader. It's like, yeah, that really happens in real fucking life. So he says, so she confessed that she had the breakup, and this guy ditched her for another hot girl. Shit's happened to everybody. It's really irrelevant, but this is what typically a guy does when he's bullshitting himself, is he starts buying all of these BS excuses as the reasons why things aren't going the way he wants. He says, and since then, she's moved on with her life and has another boyfriend who lives in another city. So that tells me you're interested in a girl that has a boyfriend. She also told me that she's hung up over on her first boyfriend who dumped her and that she has no romantic feelings for the second guy. So now you got a girl who goes out with guys and stays going out with them because she's settling and she's not really that into them because she doesn't have the guts to leave and find somebody that she really digs. She's very popular and a lot of guys hit on her, which drives me jealous sometimes. He says, I've also seen her flirt with many guys at my office. Well, at the end of the day, she ain't your girlfriend, dude, and it's none of your fucking business who she talks to. So you have no right to get bent out of shape. He says, she also told me that she likes me and I'm a cool guy to hang out with, but the problem with this girl is that she does not reciprocate romantically. Well, when you see that, common sense says, well, obviously she doesn't feel it. But the guy, you keep bullshitting yourself thinking, things are going to change. It's like once she gets to know me a little bit better, but we just need to spend some more time together. It has to be the right romantic moment, and then I'll kiss her, then she'll realize she's crazy about me. He says, I tried kissing her, and she would give me the cheek. She wouldn't give me a proper hug. She wouldn't even give me a proper hug at the end of our date when I dropped her back home. Obviously because she doesn't want to touch you and she doesn't want to give you any idea that there's anything going on other than friendship here. And so when that happens, you just move on with your life. You walk away and you never look back because they ain't going anywhere with this girl. But he says, I gifted her an expensive handbag on her birthday, which she didn't accept very well. I felt like a dick that day. Well, it's because you're basically thinking, I'll spend a lot of money and buy her an expensive handbag in hopes that my gift will work as a bribe for sex, because after all, that's another BS thing that you see in the movies and TV shows a lot. So he says, one day I made the stupid mistake of telling her that I loved her and she felt uncomfortable and did not reciprocate very well. Well, that's totally out of sequence. You're not dating this girl, you haven't been sleeping with her, hooking up, and then you say, I'm in love with you. In other words, what you're really trying to do is seek to possess this girl as opposed to just expressing your interest in her. He says, she told me that I can't decide between you and my current boyfriend and I need some more time. It's like, great, when you figure that out, give me a call. Go on with your life. That's the best way to respond to that. She also said, I need another couple of years to decide on my future. It's like the longer the excuse is, the bigger the lie. So he says, I know this was a dick move on my part, but this was before I read your book and seen your videos. Fair enough. Because people usually don't come to my website because everything's going great in their life. There's usually something that's out of balance, out of whack. So he says, however, she still calls and texts me while I have limited my communication down to 20%. Well, when a girl's jerking you around like this, dude, you shouldn't call or reach out to her at all. It's like, you see, mentally, you bullshitted yourself into thinking if you just continue to do more things for her, that it's going to force her to like you. When a girl jokes you around, you walk away, because if you're a guy who has self-respect and you perceive yourself as a catch, you're not going to stick around for a chick who's showing you no interest, because you're going to go spend your time with somebody who really does want to be with you and who appreciates your time. But because you're exhibiting qualities here of a low self-esteem or low self-worth, because this is how I used to feel, this is the kind of shit that I used to do, and because I never got the love that I wanted from my mother, this was normal. And so this was perfectly acceptable behavior to me, and because deep down I believed I didn't deserve to have what I wanted, I would continually get involved in situations like this particular guy's involved in. So I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So he says, once in a while she gives me this enthusiastic hi and chats with me in my workplace, while at other times she takes her time to respond to my texts. Likewise, she's canceled a few dates, giving some lame excuses at other times, and she asked me if we can go out for dinner. Why is this girl giving me mixed signals? Well, because you're acting weak, and your behavior is approval-seeking, and you act pretty much like most of the guys that have watched too much TV and don't know how to interact with women in a way that creates attraction. It's like, in essence, you put your balls in a box and given them to her. Instead of just being the leader and making a date, and she cancels the date, you move on with your life. In this particular case, because you set so many numerous dates, what I would do if I were you is never call her, never text her again, and when she does reach out, hey, great to hear from you, what's up, how you doing, how you been? Talk for 2 or 3 minutes, and then just say, hey, if she doesn't bring up getting together, or hey, I want to see you, or hey, we should get together soon, then just say, hey, well, it's great chatting with you, but I got to run, keep in touch. And you just leave the conversation. Because unless she asks you to do something by bringing it up, because she's canceled on you so many times, the best way in this particular situation is to not bring it up. Because one of two things will happen. Every time she calls you and you talk for 2 or 3 minutes, you're enthusiastic, you're happy to talk to her. But after 2 or 3 minutes, if she hasn't brought up getting together or mentioning that, then just say, hey, it was great hearing from you, but I got to run. Keep in touch. And then you get off the phone. But if she wants to see you, she'll bring up getting together. If she does, then you just say, hey, okay, great. Well, yeah, I'd love to see you too. I'd love to meet up for a drink. Or, yeah, we got to catch up. When are you free to get together for dinner? When are you free to get together to meet up for a drink? Why don't you grab a bottle of wine, come on over to my place, and we'll hang and we'll make some dinner together. You can say something like that. If she's unwilling to make the date, then just say, all right, well, when you figure out your schedule, give me a call. And then you walk away. One of two things will happen. This girl will either make a definite date with you, or she will disappear. She'll bring it up, and then you'll make a definite date, or she'll stop calling. That is the only thing that will happen. So this way, because you've brought it up so many times, it's like she's the one bringing it up. If she brings it up, well, guess what? It means that her interest is crept up enough, her attraction level is crept up enough to where she wants to go out with you. Then in that case, if she's brought up, then make the date. 9 times out of 10 in that particular situation, she won't cancel it. But if you continue to pursue and chase like you've been doing, you're going to get nowhere with her, and you're just going to be frustrated. So he said, and here's another thing he says, I'm very depressed and I've stopped talking with other girls, and I've spent a lot of time, energy, and money over the last few months, and I really feel bad if this relationship goes. There's no relationship, dude. There's nothing going on. And so the best thing that I can suggest for you to do is to do nothing with this particular, because you've done everything you can. You said yourself, you spent lots of time and money and energy. Walk away. When you hear from her, if she brings up getting together, make a definite date. If she doesn't bring it up after 2 or 3 minutes, say, great chatting with you, I got to run, keep in touch, then get off the phone. She'll either bring it up or she'll stop calling you. And so you'll either get a date with her or she'll go away. And she'll resolve that situation herself. You have to do nothing at this point. You've already done enough. You've actually done way too much. And so the best thing you can do is to get out there and start interacting with other women, because you've completely taken yourself out of the game. You're wanting a girl that's got a boyfriend and she's unavailable and she's jerking you around. It's like, dude, grow a set of balls and have some self-respect for yourself and be a man about it and walk away, because you deserve to have a great gal in your life, and it's not going to happen when you keep fucking around with this bullshit situation. So if you want to get my help, the quickest way to get my help personally is to go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session. And I'll talk to you soon.